following announcement has been paid for by the Mike World Order, the biggest icon in podcasting, Hollywood Mike Cook. Would like to give a fair warning on tonight's episode. Due to the past events that happened in the last 24 hours, I would like to say, for those who want to get it out and say what I think you're going to say, let me give you 3 things that I'm going to get off my chest right now. 1, my beard is not painted on, and this is 100% what you see. This is 100% my pattern. I haven't done anything special, no hair dyes, and with the original plan of what I wanted dyed, y'all detested. 2, my inspiration of having this beard came from Middle Eastern people, Egyptians, all of them. So they're the real reason why I wanted to maintain having a beard. So throw that rumor innuendo out as well. And 3, for anybody who knows about my current situation, of how I'm feeling, based on the past 24 hours, and they want to have the nerve to say, I told you so, let me tell you this one thing, and then I'm going to call it, and I want you to have your ears close to your headset, to your Bluetooth device, to your car radio. You don't know shit. And the ones that do know, you can judge me. And at the end of the day, you can also royally kiss my ass. Now, how's it going, listeners? It is I, Mike Cook, on a new episode of the Mike Cook Guys podcast. But I just wanted to get that out of my system because there are many people who want to give their 2 cents. Because I tell people, if you know I'm down in a situation and you're going to kick dirt on me, I will most likely cut you off when I'm back to my normal moments. Okay, I get everyone wants to give me their advice, but the same people that give me advice are, and I get it, it's based on your experience. I will take it, but that doesn't mean I'm going to use it. And the moment that I feel like I'm being force-fed, I'm definitely not going to do it. Anyone can say that I'm hard-headed about my situations, but I will say this and I'll be done with it. I'm not getting any younger. And with how my health's been, people have their own versions of faith, but how my health's been, from not just a physical, but a mental state as well, I just want to be happy. If you guys are really there for me, you would have my back regardless, whether if it makes me happy, if it ends up rejecting me, or I end up rejected from situation or person or whatever. That's why when I have my moments of rebellion, it's towards y'all. So tonight's episode is pretty much reflecting on the last 30 days. Starting with hospital to hospital. True story. So I came back from vacation and I went through probably the biggest meltdown ever. And it was not cool. And when I was going through like so much, like it felt like everything was just crammed in within 4 days and I lost it. I blew up. Like I ended up losing the person that I was. And I had to get off the grid for a weekend. Some stuff happened. Ended up hospitalized. That's all I'm going to keep it at. For those that do know the situation, that's kept with y'all. 2 days later, I had to work an overnight shift at my other job. And when that happened, I only had like maybe 2.5 hours of sleep. So the next day I worked, and within less than 8 hours of consumption time, I had a Red Bull, a Nas, and a Monster. And I still wonder, how am I still sitting here? Because after I drank that Monster, it's like 4 o'clock. I messaged my female lady in waiting. I'm still going with that because I don't care what goes on. I'm past friendship, and I'm just gonna fight this out on my own terms. If it doesn't work out, cool. If it ends up making me down in the dumps, hey, you ain't got to be around it. But if I open up to you about it, why in God's name would you slap it across my face that, hey, you're going through some shit, and because of it, it's your fault. I told you so. I don't need that. That's how I cut people off in life. And I'm one of those people. I will be the most loyal person, the most loyal friend, the most loyal lover. And anyone who knows me knows that backtrack. I will just like that cut you off. So when I messaged her, I said, I don't feel so good. And she's like, what's going on? I told her what I did, and she was like, what? I was like, yeah. She said, you need to take your butt to the hospital. And I ended up going to the hospital, and I went and got checked out, and, told them what happened, and, my doctor, and mind you, I'm not making fun of the Middle Easterns, but he was pretty much like, oh my God, Mr. Cook, what is going on? What have you lost your mind, Mr. Cook? They did an ultrasound. And when they did the ultrasound, he was like, your heart is very enlarged. It's quite enlarged. And I said, yeah, that's from years of steroid abuse. And he was like, he put his head down and paused for a moment and was like, why are you telling me this now? So I had to go to the ER again. So one of the staff members knew who I was. It was like a male nurse who, even though he was a black dude, he talked like a surfer. And he was like, dude, man, what are you doing in here, man? I'm like, what's going on? And I'm like, I did something crazy that could most likely kill me tonight. And I just want to let you know, you're my homeboy, even though I've only met you for the past 2 days. And he's like, okay. So when that got done, I ended up, they put me in another room, and as the guy's talking to me, he started unbuttoning my chest and, my shirt. You can't unbutton someone's chest, but you get what I meant. So he's unbuttoning my shirt, and I'm like wondering, what the hell is this guy about to do? It's like, you about to rub on my man boobs? Like, what's going on? And he ended up like pulling out this long syringe, this long needle, and I'm like, so what the fuck are you doing? Like, this ain't Pulp Fiction. I'm not Nikki Sixx. Like, whoa, what is going on? And he's like, don't worry. We'll give you a countdown before we do it. And he's like, ready? I said, ready. Here we go. Boom. He did not give me one. He jabbed it right before he won. And I looked at him while I was in a state of shock as I felt this long needle piercing into my chest. And I'm like, ow. It was painful. In that moment, I let go of every grudge and hatred I had. Even the ones that I've gotten revenge on already. I just, I was done. Like, I even started talking to pig vomit again. But it was just a crazy moment. It was scary. And as that like shot was like, I can feel like the fluid going in. Even though they numbed like my chest up that area, it's not going to do you any good. It's really not going to do you any good. So for those who say, oh, that numbing cream works, use a lie. Big time. Like, you was the biggest liar ever. And it was scary, man. So I went home. There's like, give yourself a couple of days of rest. What did I do? I went to work. Typical Mike fashion. I went to work. So, and even when doing that, I was like, it wasn't even worth going through all that. Like the first 2 hours, I told my boss, hey, I don't feel so good. I'm going home. And I've already like went to a doctor about it. It's just typical me that I came to work anyways. So when that happened, I just like rested for those 2 days, and I stayed asleep. And a few friends were giving me messages and chewing me out like, why would you do something that dumb? And I'm like, you know me. Because one person even asked me, do you have a death wish? I was like, probably. But I just low-key don't have it. And I guess when, you have things like concealed depression, like stuff like that you don't expect happen. And it just makes you wonder. So, anywho, I mentioned on the last two episodes, because everyone know the last episode, nobody finished because they probably fell asleep. Thanks, Rod. And on a side note, with your little NWO faction, I got the Mike World Order, and it's expanding. Be prepared, because Mike World Order is for life. But anywho, had to do that quick plug-in. So I mentioned in the 2 episodes ago on the Hangman Lee episode, which he will be on a future episode in the next season. And I mentioned how I wanted to do something heavily romantic for this woman. And I felt like I had a point to prove that, there is always someone better. And if you're used to not being treated the way you deserve, because you have some people who, you can really tell that they're not used to that type of thing. I don't want to say sheltered, but I'd say they never experienced that real passionate, I'll do anything for you type love. And I'm not asking for anything. I'm just doing it because I only, how you feel about someone. And you know what? A lot of people said it ain't worth it. It's a waste of time. Many people have said things. And I get it. You guys are also trying to protect me from, getting heartbroken or used. But I know what I'm getting myself into in every situation. And how I have to deal with it, that's on me if it doesn't work out. So I ended up ordering this item. And I knew the guy from the Disney store in the mall that I work at. And I'm like, hey, I need your help with this. This is what I want to get. I've already helped you out before. What can you do for me? So the bag, it was pretty much a bag of a Disney cartoon. And It was expensive. Even after the discount, it was still expensive. But you know what? The hours that I put in, I had a little bit extra. I knew that the outcome would have been worth it. And the bag got delivered a day early. So when I got home, I didn't see it because how my apartment's set up. I can drive by and see if anything got delivered from my door. So I didn't see a box. So when I went to my mailbox, I saw there was a key for P2, parcel locker 2. I open it up. There's no box in there. But there's notification saying that this item was delivered. So I'm like on the phone with USPS and I'm like chewing them out. Like I'm going ham on them. Like talking junk. I was like, why does this happen? This ain't happening. This is trying to around. Look, you had me waiting a half hour. And the fact that I had to wait a half hour to talk to someone, I was giving them shit. Like, there's no way that you can pretty much, there's no way to sugarcoat it. I was being vicious. Like Shinsuke Nakamura back in the day vicious. Like Mark Coleman hammering somebody's face to where it looked like a pile of hamburger meat vicious. We're talking some serious stuff. So when that happened, I went the next, I put in the case. But I still showed up the next day just to go to the post office in my district, which was literally down the street. I could have walked to it. But I'm not because I live on Route 1. And when that happened, I ended up coming back because they said, we'll take care of it. I was like, all right, cool. So I ended up coming back, and when I went to check my mailbox, so it was one for parcel 1. So when they said it was for parcel 1, I opened it up. Hey, there's my box. Perfect. So they pretty much gave me the wrong key. They gave me a rough situation. Like, how can you, parcel 1, parcel 2, how can you get it mixed up, USPS? Not trying to be a jerk, but how can you, I guess we'll hire anyone these days. There's people out there who's dumb as shit making more than I am, and you know what? I'm not knocking them for it. But anywho, so got the bag, looked at the bag. I was like, wow, this is going to be perfect. And as I'm like looking at the bag and all that, and checking out all of its, features and all that, because my inner salesman is sticking on to me. And then on top of that, I don't know, it's just, I kept imagining the scenario in my head and her reaction. Like, that's what I was thinking. Like, my gosh, she's really going to like this. So the next day, I was going to get off work in time to go get a bag for the, like a gift bag for the bag. But the way that it's shaped, you couldn't just get any bag. You had to get a certain bag. So then it was Labor Day weekend. So Labor Day, that Monday, after I got off work, I went looking everywhere. So I went on Route 1 to 5 different places. It is thundering. It is lightning. It is doing all of the above. It is doing the most. Like, you have no idea. It was horrible. It was horrible. And just trying to get out, and it's raining, and it's just ridiculous. It was so ridiculous. And then, wow. I ended up getting one right at the closest area, the closest Walgreens up the road from the apartment had it the whole time. And I checked both food lines. I checked Family Dollar. I checked Dollar Tree. They didn't have it. And they didn't have that size. So I went to Walgreens. It's right there sitting in front of me like, there you go, buddy. So the next day, I showed up at work early just to, make sure that it's there because I'm so used to her coming in at 8 that I didn't know that she come in early now. So I'm like, damn it. So when I went in there, I saw her in the hallway. I said, damn it. I tried to play it off, but she was so zoned out, she didn't see me. So as soon as I saw her head straight to the bathroom, I took a zip line to the area, dropped it off, and by the time I made it to my work desk, um, by the time I made it there, I already had my phone blowed up with her messaging me about it. So when I showed up, um, she was so excited, you could see, like, she looked like she either was getting ready to or she just got done crying because she was so happy about it. And I'm like, worked extra hours, check. Ordered the bag, check. Seeing her reaction and being happy about it, priceless. There's many things that I will do, but you still kind of wanted the reaction of, what's everybody else going to think about it? But then I was like, doesn't matter what everyone thought. I didn't get it for them. I got it for her because of how I felt about her. And like I said, with the events that surfaced the past 24 hours, which will be 48 when this podcast is done, nothing's changed in terms of how I feel. Even though everybody's telling me it's not worth it. Some would say because of the age difference. Well, I've dated women my age and older, and guess what? They've done worse. They've done so much worse. And what happens? I still get the same thing. So I've always learned not to listen to other people. I mean, listen, but not follow through. Because sometimes you just got to go with how you feel. And I mentioned about how I felt about the situation. I mentioned how I felt inside. Because that is honestly how I felt. Despite the situation, and I'm sure she's going to hear this and be like, wow, I'm gonna kick his ass. Nah, I don't know what her reaction about it would be, but the only thing I can say about it is there was a meme that was sent one time, and it basically said, no matter what the situation is, I will still want you. Meaning I will go through probably the most messed up situations because in the back of my mind there just might be a payoff. There just might be. Only for the simple fact there have been moments where she has shown validation compared to other people. The only thing that, and maybe it's just me, I always like the reaction part, and the outcome is like, one way you're this, but then as soon as, we're in the same area, I'd say like 60% of the time, it's like a complete different person. And I'm like, man, you're starting to be weird. But does it stop what I want to do? Nah. Because sometimes what doesn't seem like it's not short could be something else. And everyone has always told me there's always been a pattern. And it's the same pattern, but I'm like, it's been different age groups. It's just not one. And I'm sure a lot of people will still say, hey, you're wasting your time. It's not worth it. But at the same time, people sometimes forget Rome wasn't built in a day. And some things you got to make it work. And I don't give up easy. Because next month makes it 1 year that I survived round 2 of having cancer cells removed. And because of that, I don't have to wait till I'm 40 to get prostate exams. I got to do it every year now because of it. Because it wasn't like 1 or 2 that was in me. It was like 8, and they had to cut them out. So because of that, I have to get yearly checkups, which means they're going to put a camera up my butt again and check. Meaning I got to do that stupid Gatorade prep. And y'all know what I'm talking about. You got this gallon Gatorade thing, and then you got to put a whole thing of Miralax and mix it in there. And then before that, this is just before, you got to take like 2 Dorcalaxes and then drink this shit every half hour. You got to drink like a cup every half hour. And then, you want to drop like 10 pounds easy? Like, you will poop so much, your poop ends up clear. Like, that's how much you will poop. It is that serious. Do not try that at home unless you have to go through an operation. So now that I got that out my system, like I said what I needed to say about it. And that's it. Whatever happens going forward, that's our business. In other news, I just want to take a quick moment for one of our sponsors, Vicky Lee's Famous Wines. She is a wine seller of various types and brands. My favorite, even though summer's over, it's one of those wines that have all year round. There's the blonde Fasada, and then there's the regular red Fasada. And it is so delicious if you're a fan of sweet wine, but not the type of sweet wine that's like a sangria sweet, but more like a smooth sweet. It's enough sweet. It's like a give me what I want type sweet. Like, I need enough sweet to lay me out and have me feel good, but not think I'm going to have diabetes from it or the night sweats. It's like that type. And also, for those who are fans of pro wrestling and championship belts, Iron Mike championship belts. My buddy, Iron Mike, longtime friend of mine. He's basically my brother. He is my brother. He's like the same group of people like Spiko, Big Maury, and any other guy who's been close to me that has gotten to know me. When I consider you like family, I'm beyond a loyal friend. But just a collection of championship belts. Like, if there's a certain belt that you want, he can get it. Like right now, I currently have the WCW US title. Okay, and for those asking how much is the wine, sorry to cut off Iron Mike, the wine usually range about $19, $20. And my recommendation to most people, buy more than one bottle because it is one price for shipping. So if you're going to buy wine, buy like 3 or 4 or 5 wines. If you're interested, send me a message, whether it's those listening to me on Facebook Live or those on subscribing on YouTube or people that are just part of the Mike Cook podcast army, or if you're a Mike Cook guy in general, or you're a member of the Mike World Order. If you're part of those groups, send me a message. But back to Iron Mike Championship belts. So right now I got the, WCW US title, the IWGP Intercontinental title. And right now I'm debating on whether or not I want the WWF Wing Eagle belt or the MLW World Heavyweight title. And for those who are old school WWF fans, y'all know what the Wing Eagle belt looked like. That's the world title that Hogan had, Savage had, Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, Yokozuna, those guys, Steve Austin, Psycho Sid, it's a who's who, The Undertaker, those guys. Or, like I said, the Major League Wrestling World Heavyweight title, which, not the first version, but the second one. There's just something about the second one that just sticks out. There's a lot of guys online who try to hit me up that are scammers. No. I let them know right up front. I do business with Iron Mike. I am so glad to get this podcast done. Because, like I said, it would have got done last night, but like I said, situations that happened, my mind was not there. And I'll say this one more time, and I'm going to be done with it. I know most likely you're going to listen, but rest assured when I say this, I ain't going nowhere. Not at all. And how I feel is not going to change until it naturally changes to something else, which I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. And that's cool. Until then, I'm just going to keep on appreciating everything about you. And I know many people aren't going to agree with it. Since one of y'all agreed with me on something anyways, y'all know I ride to the beat of my own drum. And because of that, I am crazy. Y'all can say I'm hard-headed, I'm this and I'm that. But at the same time, none of y'all support my lifestyle, and none of y'all even buy a Mike Cook Guy t-shirt, an MWO t-shirt, a Cartoon Mike t-shirt. I got mugs going on pre-order if you want one. And nobody is like, I want one. And I even got the one that's the Dare logo one. Welcome to Virginia, motherfucker. I got that one. And the pre-sale is going on just for this week. You have until the end of the week if you want it. If not, that's your loss. Y'all going to be seeing me sipping on my cup. And y'all going to be like, yo, I want one of those. And I'm like, you should have ordered in the first place. Yeah. Get this party started. That being said, another episode in the books. And I'm glad for it. People, thank you for continuing supporting me. Next episode will probably be next week. Hopefully I'll get a guest on there. Also, Little Daryl, if you're out there listening, try answering your phone. We got business to discuss for October when we got to go to New York. That's right. I will be doing a live episode of the podcast at my coworker's wedding. But I will be respectable about it at the same time. So, that being said, here's my way of parting from you guys. I had to do the dramatic pause before I did it. I had to be funny. Sorry, I'm not that funny. Goodbye and good night. Bang!